Hey everybody, Lonnie here. So we're getting close to finishing this up. This is part 13, which is going to bring in our forecast data into the Atmo Angular application. All this data is coming from OSIsoft Cloud Services, OCS, and we've done a ton of work to get to this point, and we're just about at the finish line. Real quick, I reviewed the architecture many times, so I won't spend any more time on it, but we're working on the Atmo app, consuming that API, and we're going to bring in that forecast data and then deploy this to Firebase. This part we're going to be doing the forecasting data, and then the last part we'll be deploying it to Firebase for completing the entire end-to-end example. Okay, let's switch over to our Visual Studio Code, and let me get the screen sizes again. Let's see, set it up like that. Do this properly, get everything sized up. So here's the application as we left it in the last part. I'll do an ng serve here just to make sure that everything's still working. Okay, let's refresh this. Okay, perfect. That looks great. Let's go ahead and add in, I want to add in that forecasting, come back here. I want to add in this daily, the summary daily. I want to add that in right below, and then we'll move into this array and bring all this information in. Okay, so coming back here, I'm going to close out this, Control B to close out that, just to have a little bit more screen space here. Okay, so down here, we'll do another div, and we're just going to bring in our, that is called, it's going to be under forecast. So we know we have forecast, and that's going to be current and summary daily dot value. And let's save that, look at it. Okay, so there it is, no precipitation throughout the week. High temperatures bottoming out, 66 degrees Fahrenheit Friday, perfect. Now we're gonna just create a bunch of rows here for each of our daily forecast items. So we'll kind of do what we did before. We'll create an outer box for our forecast. So let's call this let's set up a class called forecast, and then within here we're gonna have a forecast row, and within that row we're going to put all of our different forecast information, like the icon and the high and low for the day. Let's do an ng4 here. And we're going to say let item of, and this is going to be called forecast daily, and that'll should create, I think, seven or eight items. And we can just say, let's just check that to make sure. Let's put in a div here, and just say item, and just make sure that we're getting all our items laid out. Perfect. Okay, let's put this down here on the forecast row. I want this to be in the outer box so we can control the layout of the forecast. So let's put that down here, and then within this, we're going to create some items. So I'm going to create another class called forecast row, and we'll create two items here. And then within those items, we're going to have, this item's going to have the date and then also the forecast. So I want to say something like today or tomorrow, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. I want to have the actual kind of like friendly names. So the first item, we'll say, we'll do a div, and I want to have, we don't have this yet, but I want to say something like item dot friendly date, and then we can, and then from here we can do item. These need to be in brackets. And this one we'll do item.summary.value, and that's going to look like this summary, and then we'll have this. So to say clear throughout the day. So we want to have a friendly date, and the summary. So let's get that friendly date set up. So this is where we're bringing in our forecast data. We have it right here. And what I want to do is I want to do a loop here, and we'll just loop through the daily data. So we can do a for each, and the for each is going to be this dot forecast dot daily for each, and I'll call this item. And within this item now, we can set up this friendly date. So we're going to do something like item dot friendly date, and we'll do a moment. Get the moment, the timestamp here, right here, this time. So let's grab that, and this will be item dot time. And then from here we can set up this. We can use this. It's a calendar function. And we pass in a null, and then here we can start telling it how we want things formatted. So if it's the same day, we can say same day, we'll say this is going to be today, and you'll see how this works in a second. Next day, we can say that's going to be tomorrow. And then the next week, we'll call this day. This is all documented in a moment if you want to see how this works. But the last day, we'll call this yesterday. And then it's last week. We're going to say set the formatting as last, and we'll do day, full day. And then finally, if it's anything else, we're going to just do day, and month, day. Okay. And that'll set up our friendly date. Let's go ahead and save that. And let's see how that looks. We need to save our... So here you can see tomorrow, I have an extra M in there I gotta fix. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then finally when we get to out of the week, we see Tuesday, November 5th. So you can see how it's kind of showing you more intuitive, just more user friendly altogether. Let's fix our tomorrow here. Okay. The next thing, let's get this value. So we have the value here. Get rid of this item, and we now need to put in the icon over here, the weather icon. And then I also want to put the high and the low here. So that'll be the next elements to add. Okay, we're gonna need 2 more row items in here. Let's go ahead and put that icon. It's gonna look similar to what we have up here. So let's use that as a starting place. And put the image down in here, but this is going to be we'll call this our forecast row item icon. And we need to change this to say item because we're iterating through items now. And let's do the icon.value. Let's see how that looks. See if our icons are appearing. Yep, they're way too big. Let's get that fixed right away. So I want to take up here we have our summary icon for, yeah, I think I want to come down here and let's just set up our forecast row item. Set the width up to be 2.5M. All right. We obviously have to lay this out, get it over here, and let's go ahead and do that. So this is going to be under our forecast row. So let's come up to forecast row, row. Let's get a class identifier there. Forecast row, we've done this before. We want to display it as flex. Let's see how that looks. Should get things. All right, I like that. And then we're going to need to kind of, I want to take up all the space here and have this all the way over to the right. So we're going to use some Flexbox stuff here to do that. But before we do that, let's get our high and low in here, and then we can go ahead and finish that. Okay, so the high and low is going to be very similar to what we did with our temperature up here. So we have our row item. Yeah, we'll put both of them. We'll put that in div, so we can grab one of these and we can say forecast daily. This is just going to be item, and let's change this to high value, and then we'll also do a low. See how that looks? Okay, and so you can see they're side by side right now, so we'll have to fix that too. Okay, notice these are side by side. Let's, I think it's because I'm not contained in here. Let's see how that looks. Okay, there I have them top, bottom. That's perfect. Okay, now let's go ahead. Yeah, let's add a little bit of padding in here so these guys aren't scrunched up. So we can do a forecast row item, and yeah, let's just do a padding of 0.4M, and I'm gonna put a little bit of space. Okay, I like that. That's spaced out. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to move this over to the right, and I also want to put dividers in here. So let's move this to the right. To do that, I want to take and I want to grow this out and move this all the way over, so we can put a modifier up here under our date, and the modifier we're going to call forecast row item. And we'll call this grow. And yeah, the grow is we'll do a put flex grow, and we'll set that to 1. Let's save everything here. Okay, so now that moved everything over, which I like. And then I want to put a little bit of gap in between this. So we'll come up to our forecast, and we'll do a margin top, and we'll say 0.6M. And let's go ahead and put in a border. Border is going to go at the bottom of the row here, and we can do a border bottom, and I'm going to go 1 pixel solid, and we'll do an RGB, and I'll do 0, 0, 0, and do a little transparency. Actually, it has to be RGBA for that to happen. And the transparency we'll put at 0.43. Let's see how that looks. Cool, we got our space here. And then it looks like we're probably need to set up some margin here on the top too. Need to correct these copy paste errors. Okay, cool. That looks a little better. Things were kind of off there. Let's get rid of this this bottom border here. Always something that you want to do. To do that, we just we'll just come in and put it right here, and we'll do a forecast row, and we'll take the last child, and then we'll just do a border bottom. I'll set that to none. Okay, I think that actually might be it. We'll just get rid of our border here and make this a little larger and try it out on some various displays just to make sure that the responsiveness. So F12, and then I can come over. This is what it looks like on a phone. If I rotate my phone, we can scroll up and down like that, and you can see the border, the background staying nice and solid. That looks good. Larger displays. That looks great. Okay, so that is as far as we're going to go. There's tons of more things that you could add in. I'm sure as you're thinking about it, like one of the suggestions I've heard is to change the background based on the time of day. So you could use your time, and there's actually Dark Sky provides sunset and sunrise, sunset, so you could change off of those based on when it's going to get dark in your area, and then you could change the background to like a starry night or something like that. You could also change the background to match the weather. If it's saying it's rainy, you could have a rainy background. So there's all kinds of fun things that could be done with this. But I hope you see kind of going through styling and putting an app together. It's not all that difficult. Just take some time to play around with these things. I've already built the app, so I had the luxury of knowing kind of where to size everything. But typically you kind of start playing around with it, and when you understand how things like Flexbox work, things like that, it makes it really kind of fun once you kind of get a handle around the technology. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is deploy this to Firebase, which we'll do in the next part, and we'll wrap it all up. I hope this has been a cool end-to-end example for you to follow along, and that you're able to go out and build some similar types of applications using OSIsoft Cloud Services or whatever other database you might want to use. My name is Lonnie. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.